And there we are, all fuzzy. Look at that. We start the stream with me going, oh. All right, hang on, let me fix this video. All right, that'll do. Hello, and welcome to our final live stream of 2023 here on YouTube. It's time for the final weekly Wednesday Warble in January. I'm going to start just referring to it as 10 songs about, because I think that's a more, maybe not everyone knows what a warble is. So I think that's a more, hi. Yeah, it just might be going, too fuzzy. We were too fuzzy. But for today's show, I wanted to do a little roundup of 2023. So I didn't write very much in 2023. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Marlis. Welcome in. Happy holidays. Yeah, so 2023, I wrote fewer songs, but I did write, I wrote around a dozen. Some were started, some were finished, some were not. But for today, I'm going to go through some of the finished songs that I think, that I'm happiest with or that have gotten good responses. I'm going to do 2 songs that I released this year. So they weren't written this year, but they were recorded and released. And I'm going to play one cover, and it'll be the cover that I like best, that I learned this year. And we've got working on a Christmas jigsaw, so that's very perfect. That's very good. So we're going to start... Actually, travel. Travel takes up... I did a lot of traveling this year, so maybe it's not surprising that travel takes up the first 4 songs on the list. But I'm going to start with 2 from my EP Road Trip that I released. And this is one that I sing, I think, the least frequently for some reason. No, that's Nancy. That's Nancy Kalel. You know Nancy from Ham Bones and from here. So this is packing the car. check the lights and windows. Are we turning around? Did you pack the flashlight? check on the spare? Do we have maps and space blankets? Are we ready? Get up early with the dawn. Load the car up, hit the road. Clouds up ahead, clouds turning grim. Storm clouds open and release. Pull over and wait for those clouds to pass. Get up early with the dawn. Load the car up, hit the road. Bags already, luggage stowed. Load the car up, hit the road. And there we go, packing the car. And Nancy, yes, I start my, so everybody, on Christmas Eve is past, New Year's Eve, this Sunday coming, the Hambones open mic, which I often attend and I sometimes host, are having their 16-hour New Year's Eve annual Rock Around the Clock open mic extravaganza, and I will be hosting a slot there, and no one else can sign up for my hosting slot because mine is full, but I think there's still slots throughout. Hey, Steve Bellow, good to have you here. Good to have you here. Welcome in. But yeah, so New Year's Eve I am hosting, and Nancy is going to be singing in my open mic hosting section, which is 2 hours long, and my section begins at 3 p.m. Eastern time, but the whole thing kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern and goes until 5 a.m. Eastern, I believe. And how are you doing, Steve? How has your year been? I'm doing a little roundup of my year. So I just played the first song off my EP Road Trip that I released this year. And now I'm going to play the second song off my EP. Or the second song, the last song on that EP, which is Red Twist. And this begins we have a little 3-song set coming up about accommodations, basically. So this one is about a motel. Specifically about seeing those red twisty neon lights of a hotel advertising a vacancy late at night after you've been driving for far too long. It's been a long day, been a long drive. Stop for the night. I drift off. There you go, that's Red Twist. Your year has been interesting. I think I've had a fairly interesting year as well. I've had a fairly interesting year. So there's a song about a motel. This next one is about camping, and this is a true story. Also, thus begins a segment of true stories. This is a song that I wrote. The event happened in 2022, but I wrote this song in 2023, and in fact, I finished it earlier today. So this is probably the last song written in 2023. So it's been a year and a bit in the making, because it was September of 2022 that my husband and I went on this very camping trip. The chatter at the corner store reported that a storm was likely coming. We walked out with our camping guides, feel for the Coleman stove unfazed. We booked that campsite in advance, and after work we went on Friday night. We pitched our tent and sang some songs and cooked our supper underneath the stars. We turned back from our morning hike. The rain displayed no signs of letting up. Decided not to use the boat. The waters of the pond looked like the ocean. We huddled in our tent all afternoon, enjoying one another's company. With pens and notebooks, making plans, making changes for the coming year. It did not occur to us to change our plan. A little wind, a little rain, hope blows down our parade. We were quite content inside our tent, huddled together while outside the storm raged. But it makes a person question the things we are accepting in the daily grind. If a nice relaxing weekend is best achieved by camping in a hurricane. We huddled in the rain to cook. We ate our suppers sitting in the car. We noticed other campers near us tearing down and calling it a day. I didn't think much of it at the time. No more warning bells rang when we saw the park rangers come out in force, shutting windows, nailing doors down. It did not occur to us to change our plans. A little rain won't rain close down our parade. We were quite content inside our tent, huddled together is now too late, much too dark, too wet, and far too dangerous to flee. We made it through the night unscathed and couldn't get out of that campground fast enough. We didn't even bother folding tents or rolling sleeping bags at all. We threw them in the trunk as soon as daylight came and slowly hit the gas. And all along that one-way road we saw that we were the only morons left. To change our plan, a little rain goes down our parade. We were quite content inside our tent, huddled together while outside the storm raged. But it makes a person question all the things they are accepting in the daily grind, when a night's relaxing weekend is best achieved by camping in a hurricane. More or less. Oh, you sent me a Christmas card. I hope my husband's gone to check the mail today. No, I think he's already back, so it may not have arrived yet, but it'll get here. Another thing I worked on this year that I didn't finish was a song about how slow the mail is in Newfoundland. So maybe we'll have that one ready for the next holiday season. All right. So that was Camping in a Hurricane. This is another song that I wrote. I wrote this one in January, and it's about a hotel I stayed at in New York. Also, the event was 2022. December 2022, I stayed in a 4-star hotel in Manhattan. And I think accommodations were probably nicer in my hurricane campground. But I thought it would be fun to write a Yelp review in song form. We're a boutique hotel, it means we don't know what we're doing. A boutique hotel, we're a boutique hotel. A boutique hotel, you know it means we're overcharging. A boutique hotel, we're a boutique hotel. It had 4 stars in the Michelin book, but I did wonder at the caveat that it was best for those whose plan did not involve much time spent in their room. Near the subway, right downtown, the bed was comfy and the gym was just fine. But I'd have had a better ROI if I had booked the hostel near the wine. They're a boutique hotel, it means they don't know what they're doing. A boutique hotel, they're a boutique hotel. A boutique hotel, you know it means they're overcharging. A boutique hotel, they're a boutique hotel. The room was tiny, the walls were black, the bathroom sink sat next to the bed. The well-appointed rooms described did not involve any space for unpacking. No bedside table, no nightside lamp, no place for setting anything down. But it did have a full-sized fridge and cupboard filled with booze and snacks for purchase. They're a boutique hotel, I think they don't know what they're doing. A boutique hotel, they're a boutique hotel. We don't care that you can't see Gas lights lit the lobby back when women couldn't vote. We're a boutique hotel, we decorate with taxidermy. A boutique hotel, we're a boutique hotel. A boutique hotel, yeah, your room is dank and grimy. A boutique hotel, a boutique hotel. In the morning I tried to make a cup of coffee, but to my dismay I thought it best for guests to leave and buy a fancy coffee down the street. Have the owners never traveled before? Every hotel all over the world, the Super 8, the Ritz-Carlton have complimentary tea and coffee in every room. They're a boutique hotel, it means they don't know what they're doing. A boutique hotel, they're a boutique hotel. A boutique hotel, yeah, it means they're overcharging. A boutique hotel, a boutique hotel. A boutique hotel, they're a boutique hotel. All right. Every word of that song is true. Here's another song that came out of nothing but truth. Yes, yes indeed. And I just need to... Oh yeah, okay, I see what I need to do here. This one, so in March, yes, this was March of 2023. I'm like, what year is it? What are we doing here? March. In March, I took part in a, what was it? Hang on, what's the full title? The title was ridiculous. Musicians Unite Together Wherever, which is a series on Twitch run by a musician from Seattle, I believe, named Irene Pena. And so every month she gathers together, I think about 4 or 5 Twitch singer-songwriters and gives them a prompt. And so we have a month to write the song, and then we all gather on her show and perform a bunch of songs, but including the songs we wrote for the prompt. So the prompt that I was given, I appeared on the show in March, and the prompt I was given was eavesdropping. And so I was like, okay, eavesdropping, what can I do with this? And I thought about, you know, like, you're riding the bus. I thought about a number of times throughout my life that I overheard somebody else's conversation and you know, thought like, this is not something I should be hearing, or this is something I wish I wasn't hearing, or I can't believe this person type of thing. So I thought back to a number of those instances that have happened over time, and I got this song out of it. So again, this song is full of truth. It was very silly. Okay. We are the only ones talking, she cried as they got up and ran from the co-working cafe. The others head deep in their headphones unbothered, but I knew more than their roommate would want me to. Listening in shouldn't. It isn't polite, they're talking so loud I can't really help it. Here's a cool thing that we learned in my science class. Happily prattled the child to his guardian, saw his face fall with a sad little oh, as he was informed that is not what the Bible says. I bled, biting my tongue to stay out of it. Listening in, I know that I shouldn't. It isn't polite, they're talking so loud I can't really help it. Good job, you sat down, said the mom to her daughter as they settled into their seats on the subway. That kid is 8 years old. If she's a day, that is too old to go about setting the bar that low. Listening in, I know that I shouldn't. It isn't polite, they're talking so loud I can't really help it. And I shouldn't be so judgmental. What would they think if they overheard me? I know we shouldn't judge other people. They're going through life as best as they can. Been feeling down since my best friend was murdered, done in by his girlfriend. Yeah, she was a hot one. But what's the alternative? Can't date an ugly chick. Wow, bro, maybe your problems begin at home. Listening in, I heard more than I wanted. Ignorance is bliss, but it's hard to achieve surrounded by ignorance. Listening in, I know that I shouldn't. It isn't polite, they're talking so loud I can't really help it. Can't really help it. I can't really help it. I can't really help it. There we go, listening in. So I wrote that for the New Tune Showcase. Musicians Unite Together Wherever New Tune Showcase. That was the full name of it, because there's also Musicians Unite Together Wherever Raid Trains. So there we go. That brings us, we're about halfway through. We're about halfway through the set today. Actually, yeah, no, we're about halfway through. We're right at the halfway point. And I'm going to play the one and only cover today. And there was one cover that I learned this year that stood out above all other covers. And I have been doing, it came about because of this 10 songs about the weekly Wednesday Warble. And my theme one week was art. And so to prepare for that, I was looking for songs that had to do with art. And I've heard this song before, but hadn't really thought about it in years. I think maybe I've heard it, but not really, paid attention to the lyrics or something like that. So when I was Googling songs about art, this popped up. I was like, oh yeah, what's that song? And I was like, oh, this is a very good song. So this is a Don McLean song. Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils. Catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. And now I understand what you tried to say to me. How you suffered for your sanity. How you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds and a violet haze reflect in Vincent's his eyes of china blue, colors changing hue, morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. And now I understand what you tried to say to me. I had suffered for your sanity. I had tried to set them free. They would not listen. They did not know how. Perhaps they listen now, for they could not love you. Still your love was true. And when no hope was left in sight on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, the silver thorn, the bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. And now I think I know what you tried to say to me. I have suffered for your sanity. I had tried to set them free. They would not listen. They're not listening still. Perhaps they never will. Yeah, that's the cover of the year. That is my favorite song that I learned to play this year, and I learned a lot of. So I was playing a lot more gigs. I was doing a lot more live streams this year here on YouTube, and it's a beautiful, beautiful song. Yeah, so I didn't write as many songs this year. I think I was doing a lot more performances, and I was trying to record. But I learned a lot of songs this year, and that's definitely that's like above and beyond my favorite song that I learned to play this year. All right, so now we're gonna get back to things I wrote this year, and this one just sort of came together this month. Looks like I started writing it in May. Oh, actually, I was like, why would I write a song about hockey in May? But of course, its playoffs are happening in May, so that's why. This is my song about hockey that really I started writing this in May, but it sort of really came together in this last month. So I've been performing it quite a bit in the last couple of weeks, but it's one of the songs I wrote this year, so here we go. Standing, take your hat off for the anthem. Listen for the starting lineup. Facing off center ice, drop the puck, let's go. Scrape of skates, thwack of sticks, echo through the rink. Fast hands, fast feet, flying, gliding over the ice. Don't blink, don't breathe, gripping the edge of my seat. 97 miles per hour off the stick of the left winger, from a passway out in center, through the legs, through the screen, shot is blocked, rebound, off the post, off the glass, out of play, blown down. Fast hands, fast feet, flying, gliding over the ice. Don't blink, don't breathe, gripping the edge of my seat. Speed, aggression, high emotion, tension, violence, and triumph. Blood, sweat, missing teeth, and tears. Person spends their whole life dreaming, drilling, dreaming to exhaustion. mental strength, willpower, and grit. Down 3 goals, no time remaining. Blood is high and tempers flaring. Penalty box overflowing. High stick, cross check, backs up chirping. Stop the play, drop the gloves, uppercut thrown out. Fast hands, fast feet, line gliding over the ice. Don't blink, don't breathe, gripping the edge of my seat. Like that. I'm still not entirely convinced that that's how the song ends, but there we go. Maybe we'll go into overtime at some point. We shall see. That's a song about hockey. In the next one, we're going to stay in the cold feelings, and I feel this came about this summer, but it couldn't have been this summer. It must have been more recently than that. Mustn't it have been? I would think so, because this is a song called Frost. And it came about because one of my Twitch viewers asked if I could write a 3-chord song, and I was like, sure. And then I think they quickly qualified like 3 normal chords. So I have written this song, and the 3 chords are D, F, and A minor. The order changes, but they all contain an A note. So if one wanted to jam on any instrument, one could just pick the note A and play that, and it'll work anywhere. You're wearing a hockey hoodie. Very good, very good. Is that a college hockey team? That sounds like a college hockey team. St. Ignace hockey. The World Juniors is on right now. We haven't watched any of the Juniors games this year. We often do, but we haven't this year. I'm very excited. The PWHL starts up in January, which is the Professional Women's Hockey League. I followed the Canadian Women's Hockey League and the National Women's Hockey League at the same time. It's a high school hockey team. Nice. I followed the women. There were 2 professional women's leagues for a while. There was one in Canada and one in the States, and then the one in Canada folded, and a bunch of the players from that league formed it wasn't a league with teams, it was just kind of like a group of homeless, teamless professional hockey players, and they would do kind of exhibition games basically. So I kind of kept an eye on them. They came to I lived in Montreal, and they came and played in Montreal, so I actually got to see those games. But I still sort of followed the NWHL, which changed their name to the PHL. Oof, it's very confusing. Anyway, there's now one league, and their teams don't have any names. Apparently they're planning to take their time developing names, but that starts up in January, and I will certainly be watching it. I certainly am already familiar with an awful lot of the players. Anyway, hockey. We like hockey. We like hockey around here. But this is a 3-chord song about frost. About winter mornings. It's not called Frost. It's called Winter Morning. It's on my computer in a file called Frost, because I started writing it before I knew what the song was about, or called, or anything like that. Woof. Hey John, good to see you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I'm going to see you in February, I would think. Are you going to be at FAI this year, John? I'm going to be at FAI this year. Oh, right on. And I'm gonna need to write a baseball song soon, because that's your sport, isn't it, John? gets underway. Ice cracks in the sun. The moment is gone. Winter morning, all is still. Cold reflections light the world. This fragile pace breaks at the first sound. If I could freeze time, I would hold it there in the pre-dawn lull before the first alarm. Winter morning, all is still. Cold reflections light the world. This fragile peace breaks at the first sound. Well, on with the day, on with our lives, greet a new dawn, spellbound while it lasts. Winter morning, all is still. Cold reflections light the world. This fragile peace breaks at the first sound. It's 3 chords. What's the last one? That's right. We've got baseball and baseball. You follow baseball and baseball here, Casey, but mainly you went to baseball. Well, I play softball. I play on a wacky softball team. Baseball and football, you meant. I thought you were making a joke about how popular baseball is. Fan of both sports, baseball and baseball. I really like football, and I was really excited. My team. So I lived in Montreal. So in Canada, we have the Canadian Football League, which has 8 teams, and surprisingly, it's surprising that for a league that's been around for 100 years, that's only ever had like 6 to 8 teams, surprisingly, Montreal and Winnipeg met for the Grey Cup this year, and apparently they had never met in a Grey Cup before, those 2 teams. But I was really excited because the Montreal Alouettes, because I lived in Montreal, were the team that I followed, and I'd been to some of their games, and they were extreme underdogs. They were everyone fully expected the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to win because they've kind of, I don't think they had a perfect season, but they're like, it's like their 4th trip to the Grey Cup in 4 years, and they were pretty much expected to just steamroll Montreal, who barely scraped by. Didn't beat a team with a better record than them all season, but managed to beat the second best team in the playoffs to get into the Grey Cup. And all of the so it was my team, and they were the underdogs, so obviously it was very exciting to go for them. But all the like, the pre-game show was just like, well, like Winnipeg's like gonna win because of this and this, and Montreal, well, who knows? Maybe they could win it. And like they were trying to interview the Montreal coach, and he was basically like, you guys don't think we're gonna win? Like, don't even bother talking to us. And they won! So it was very exciting. So that was an exciting event of 2023. All right, so we're down to 2 songs in this week's formerly called Weekly Wednesday Warble, about to be called 10 Songs About, but happening at the same time in the same place. This is one of my favorite songs that I've written this year, and probably one of the weirdest. So a lot of my excellent, it is, FAI is going to be in Montreal in 2025. Word on the street is, and I'm going to be there too. Any excuse to go to Montreal is an excuse. Montreal is like the easiest place to get to from here. There's actually direct flights from St. John's, Newfoundland to Montreal that go every day, I think. So I think even multiple times a day, which is amazing for us. Very few places that you can get to multiple times in a day in one flight from Newfoundland, and Montreal is one of those places. So one of the things that has contributed greatly to my songwriting over the last couple of years is going to Rob's online virtual open mic. That's on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. And every month they have a songwriting prompt. And for 2 years, I think, yeah, Montreal is probably the coldest you've ever. Saskatchewan is the coldest I've ever been. Saskatchewan at Christmas time, Saskatoon at Christmas time is the coldest I have ever been. But Montreal is a close second. Montreal gets very cold in February. Very, very cold. Ba-doop, boop, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, boop. Now here's me having two conversations at once again, as we do here on the Kyla Tilley Show. So yeah, in between like 2021 and 2022, I wrote a lot of songs because of the Rob's open mic. And this year, I think I only actually wrote 2 songs from those prompts. And one of them, I wrote it, I played it, and I've never played it again, and I need to relearn it. But this one I wrote, I'm really happy with. And it's sort of the prompt was object permanence. And what did I do? I decided to just explain what it is. So this is like a children's song. object permanence. My only children's song. So I'm gonna close today with a song that I wrote at the very beginning of the year. In fact, I wrote it so early. Well, I wrote it so early in the year that when I went through my planner to look over my year, I did my year in review kind of thing. I was quite surprised to see that this song was on the list for 2003. And I guess what's quite surprising about it is because I've also recorded this, and it's not released yet. It'll be released next year. But I just usually it takes me a while to get around to recording and releasing a song, so I think I just had in my head that, that this is an older song than it is. But this is not a true story. It did come from an idea that I've had for quite a while. And I grew up singing a lot of like Celtic traditional songs, and a lot of those songs have, there's the I will never love again kind of songs, and there's let me tell you a sad story kind of songs. But then there's what I refer to as the misadventure on the way to the market songs. And they're usually pretty chipper and upbeat and, involve, on the way to market. And either I met a lass or, I don't know, usually the meeting of fair maids is involved in those. But anyway, I was like, I should like to write kind of a modern misadventure on the way to the market song. And then where I live, a lot of people drive ATVs, and so our local news is always filled with stories about ATVs, usually ATV accidents. And there was one, and the person was not hurt. Nobody was hurt. But there was a picture in the news of the ocean and the wheels of the ATV peeking up. And the headline was something like, drunk ATV driver crashes into ocean. And I was like, well, this needs to end up in a song somehow. Come, good people, listen to my tale. On my way to the market, a happening quite singular did occur. As I roved, my body wandered, with my mind off the path I was walking, all for to get bread and oil. Who knew I would fall so far into disrepute? Such ignominious fate lay in store for me. Who would have guessed? All for bread and oil. There I came across one in some distress, asking for my assistance in matters quite counter to any law. Would I be so kind as to mind their rig as they pick out their sundries? This ATV is hard to start, let it run. Who knew I would fall so far into disrepute? Such ignominious fate lay in store for me. Who would have guessed? All for bread and oil. Decent sort, I agreed to help, and it was in the driver's seat I was sitting when out they ran yelling, go, go, go. Saw the cashier's face, shock and sadness, saw the rush kiss. Heard the sirens, the race is on. Deep into the woods when my partner in crime unasked for made a leap and got away on foot with the loot, whatever that was. Unfamiliar with the trail, found myself back on the highway. See the blockade up ahead, local fire brigades involved. RCMPR closing in. Made the sharpest of turns to avoid hitting some local fishermen. Found myself hurtling toward the sea. Coast Guard picked me up on what later turned out to be stolen property. Drove recklessly through the bay. In the court dockets on the evening news, due to my disposition kind, I now must drive quite far and wide for bread and oil. Into disrepute, such ignominious fate lay in store for me. Who would have guessed? All for bread and oil. La da 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 la 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 la. There we go. There we go. So those are 10 songs that I either wrote. Well, let's see. We had 7 songs that I wrote in 2023, 2 songs that I recorded and released in 2023, and 1 cover that I learned in 2023 that I thought was an amazing and wonderful song. So I thank you so much for joining me here today for this little review of the year in song, I suppose. My year in song. I have been Kyla Tilley. I am a singer-songwriter. Next Wednesday, I am taking the first week. I'm not going to be doing a stream on the 3rd of January. I'm taking a quick little break, but then I will be back on the following Wednesday, and with a New Year and like resolution, that type of songs pertaining to the new year will be the theme, and it will be called 10 Songs About instead of the weekly Wednesday Warble. But apart from the name, everything will be more or less the same as what we've done this year. So thank you all so much. I think everyone is here are people that I've seen throughout the year, and it's so nice to come here and hang out with you on a Wednesday afternoon. And I wish you all a very, very happy New Year. And I will be back on YouTube on New Year's Eve, Sunday, as one 2-hour slot hosting an open mic for the Hambones Open Mic 16-hour New Year's Eve rock around the clock musical extravaganza. So hopefully I'll see some of you there. Otherwise, I'll see you in 2 weeks. So take care, everybody. Have a wonderful holiday.